Hi, this is George. So today we are going to work on including borders in your doodle swatches. This is a continuation of my Swatchtober, which is my version of Inktober, but instead of just doodling ink, I'm doodling swatches. So each day, and today is number 22, I'm going to do borders, and tomorrow I'm going to include corners. Basically, the idea of a border is to enclose the artwork in here. So the border, for example, can be anything. And if you want to, you can use the patterns that you've included otherwise throughout your doodle swatches and incorporate it in the border. So I'm going to go with the circles and some vines. Think of a border as a column, like here, here, any straight hard edge pattern. You can be as detailed as you want or as simplified as you want. It's all up to you. And if you want, you can do it in pencil and do the ink work last. But I'm going to do it first. And I'm rounding out some of the areas. And if you want to change up while you're inking in, go ahead. Like, I like the bulbous here, and then the hump there. And likewise, I not worry about the lines, and you shouldn't be either. So we're going to draw something like this in here. Now it's going to change a bit, but that's the art of doodling. Okay. So I'm going to change it up a little bit like I normally do. And instead of having one column, one column. I'm going to have columns throughout, or borders throughout, and I'm going to use a bit of cardboard, and let's have fun. That's the first one. And do we want to extend this a bit more? Yes. So and for this one, I don't think I'm going to go in with the ink first. Let's extend this out. And I'm going to use my kneaded eraser because you can squeeze it to get it into tiny spaces. And it doesn't leave any residue, and it doesn't damage your paper. I'm just trying to lighten up the pencil marks. And today I'm going to use my Castle watercolor pencil, but you can use any watercolor pencils you have. You can use it as a watercolor when you wet it, or you can leave the pencils as a colored pencil. Let's go with a blue, a darker blue, and this is ultramarine light, cornflower blue, and teal green. I'm using these three colors because I like the blueness of the background with a hint of neutral, as well as my idea of light, middle, and shadow. So let's go with the light, I think, and just play around. The major light is going to be the background. I have some water over here, so I can clean my brush and then get more water on my brush. I'm going to use a couple of brushes. They're going to be round, but you can use whatever brush you have. I have some paper towels up here. It'll be very important to damp off your brush. So I did the teal in the background, and I'm going to wet it a bit to activate the watercolor pencil. And I'm using my phone as my camera. It's a new one for me. Let me know in the comments section below if you can see what I'm doing. Let's go in with the teal again. And up here as well to contain everything. This will be the first layer of my shadow, but you'll see it as we develop. And let's go in with this here. Going in here with to activate the color pencil. And I like the color pencil because it has a different texture than watercolor. I'm going to spot the water there because I'm going to activate the color pencil here. And if this was wet, it would bleed into the wet area. And I'm going to go over this area with my heat gun. I'm going to be a bit more aggressive in my removal of pencil marks. Now, we still have to include this, but I'm going to do this a bit differently. So I'm going to define the elements like here. I am using negative space. Here, I'm actually defining what I'm painting. And let's go in with a bit more of the teal green. Because why not? And this time, I'm going to actually add in ultramarine blue, light, okay, to define the shapes in even more. And it's just a matter of playing around, because it's only a doodle. Nothing too serious. And with this one and this one, I am putting the water on the outer skirts of the watercolor pencil and letting it bleed more gently. While this one is drying, I'm going to go in and extend this one down. I'm going to use a bit of cornflower blue to give it a little bit of background color, because I want to show you that you can incorporate a border anywhere on your doodle swatch as you want. I'm going to switch from a smaller brush to my Mimic 6, and you can carry the color up a bit. And basically, that's all water on my brush to soften the bleed or the blend. While this is drying, I'm going to redefine the outer ring, because I want to have the background more intensely different than both the ring and the border. I like the different textures you can get with the colored pencil or watercolor pencil. And you can also go in with your paintbrush and get it a bit more intense. And now that's wet, let's go in with this area. I want to mimic the shapes of this border over here. So I'm going to gently pencil in the column or the border. and maybe change it up. Because why not? So I'm going to go in and do the background first and lightly press, and I'm going to do it in a circular motion. Use my number 6 to affect a larger area. And I'm using the till as before. And spreading the water a bit around for some diffusion. And I want to extend the top of the border into the area in the arch, because once again you want to, well, at least I do, to incorporate my doodle swatches into previous areas. So if I had worked this area and this area, they would bleed together. And since I'm right-handed, I tend to go on the left side first, cutting down the chances of having my hand in the wet area. And leaving a bit of highlight there. Now you could continue building up the shadows in here, the border, or you can make the background more pronounced. There are benefits to each way, but I'm going to continue to do the shadows on the border. What I'm doing here is short flicks of my watercolor pencil.
Down here as well. Making it a little bit darker, some.
And again, with the circular motion around the border, but I'm not going to paint in the water yet. Just giving me a general idea of what is going to happen. I find that with any medium, when you go through stages and slowly build up to the final piece. So going in with my number 2, gently defining the shape. Again, going kind of a flicking motion. And since the area around the border doesn't really touch anything in here, we can go in with the second stage of the background. Going in with my ultramarine blue again, and now I'm going to start darkening up the background. To find the edges a bit more, or put some in where you think you want it. And because I bit a bit more control using a smaller brush, I'm going to use one now. I'm going to go in with a bit of cornflower blue, just a bit to help define some of the shadows. Let's go in with the cornflower blue and do this way. And since I want this to continue for another day with this doodle here, I like it, but it's too monochromatic for me. So I'm going to warm it up a little bit. Kind of like that. Going in with my Castle watercolor tin. Let's see. What's color? How about Carmine Rose? Let's try Flex Deep. I don't know if they're going to work, but we'll see. Let's try the Flex Deep first. I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. Okay, let's try that again. Much better. Because when the paper is still damp, it's a little bit difficult to apply pencil, whether it's a regular pencil, a color pencil, or a watercolor pencil. It's I think it's a matter of grip. Again, a light presser and a circular motion works for me. And the other side. Remember to continue even when you come upon the ugly stage, which I'm doing now. I'm going to go in with my number 4, which is a bit less real estate than the number 6, but not as controlled as the number 2. A lot of water. And over here. So imagine this is your doodle surface, and you want to include a corner. What you can do is imagine that you create okay. This is your overall doodle surface. You incorporate a demarcation line, and you can do a square, circle. In this case, I'm doing a diamond or a triangle, and you can maintain the same color scheme, but I'm going to use my flex deep, which will also impact the background for the border, but that's okay. Now this is when I'm doing the corner, and I'm making the inside darker, but conversely, you could do it where you're applying the shadow around the corner. Okay. And continuing with my using watercolor pencils, because I really like using these. It's different than, say, Neo Color 2s or watercolor kind of texture. Bit more color. And since I want to add more stuff, because I always do, let's see. Because I wouldn't be me if I didn't. So I have a question. What's your favorite diametrical shape? Do you like squares or triangles? Something with a hard edge? Or something that is softer, like a heart or a circle? So we have the base here, and apparently I'm making another border, but that was intentional. I'm going to use a little bit of the carmine red. Just a hint. And go in with my water. And again, you could use whatever brush size you feel comfortable using. And a bit more water. And introduce the carmine red to the mixture. And your corners can be as detailed as your border. It all depends on your style. So we have one border here, another border here, and an excellent accidental border here, and a corner, which also has a border. So, how do you like it? Now you can be as detailed like here, or as general as like my clouds here. Whatever you decide is fine with me because it's your piece of work, your artwork. So I hope you enjoyed it today, and remember to VOTE. Also, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and be creative, whether it's doodling, painting, singing, whatever. I will see you in the next video, and take care.